Super Bear Adventure is a fun, pleasant, and wholehearted game. A game with great movement, which makes it very fun to speedrun. But it's actually very brutal. You go around taking innocent turtles' hard-earned savings, ruining innocent rats' lives, and doing this constantly. We're not even considering what Baron's brother has done. So what if we speedrun the game in true Super Bear Adventure fashion, and try to beat the game without harming anyone? Now, we need some rules for this challenge. What exactly is considered as harm? Basically, no punching, no stomping, no bouncing on any living things. There will also be odd cases as well. This includes no using the giant crusher, no throwing purple splat at anyone, and any more odd cases that might arise along the way. Anything that could be considered causing direct harm to any living thing is off limits. Now, this does not mean that living things can't harm themselves. That's not our fault, that's their fault. With this being said, let's get on to the run. The run began as normal, using normal speedrun tricks. We make it into the first level no problem. We can even grab our first bear with no impairment. That's when we encounter our first hurdle, this bee. The issue the bee causes is that it makes this puzzle more difficult while having to avoid the bee rather than just unaliving it. At this point, I just decided to restart the level and just take the time loss. The other issue the bee causes is it's very difficult to punch the handles without accidentally punching the bee. This needs to be kept in mind while doing this puzzle. The rest of level 1 played out pretty normally, except for the fact I haven't speedrun this game in a while, so I'm a bit rusty. It's interesting to note that the boss cannot be completed, not just because you have to punch the boss, but because when you first enter the boss room, you land directly onto the boss. This probably hurts at least a bit. To no one's surprise, all the bosses end up being incompletable according to the rules of this challenge. I mean, just look at this. I think this rat just is completely unalived at the end here. Anyway, I make my way over to Snow Valley and immediately lose the challenge. There is no way that having a giant bear going that fast directly onto your head does not hurt. I did this because it's part of the speedrunning strat I used to get Alex Diamond Time. And with that, it was on to attempt 2. This time Christopher went much better. After forgetting where the heck I was going, I had to turn around and try again. And go all the way back up. And go all the way back up again. I need to get better at speedrunning. Here we have to be careful as to not stomp the bee when it comes over to try to attack us. After almost getting destroyed by bees multiple times, I eventually headed to the next destination. That is, if I knew where I was going and didn't forget the speedrun route again. In Giant House, there wasn't much that happened. There weren't too many enemies around that could pose a threat. The desert went about the same. However, I forgot about this enemy, and subsequently almost dove directly into it. However, I pulled back just in time. I had to be careful around the lake as to not accidentally bounce on any of the gators. Finally, I made it to the last level. I was worried about the bees here, however they ended up not posing much of a threat. After completely forgetting what I was doing again, I made my way to the caterpillar section. Normally, you're supposed to find a way to gain height, then jump on the caterpillar's back 3 times. This will cause a platform to raise, allowing you to use the platform to make it into the next area. We cannot do that for obvious reasons, so instead I use a speedrun strat that allows us to skip this middle platform. By making this precise stomp and dive, it allows us to barely grab the ledge, enabling us to continue on our way without the platform. During this fight, I had to be careful not to accidentally injure the honey zombies. This part was annoying because I had to avoid the bees rather than just taking them out. Now you're probably wondering, how do we defeat Baron's brother without invoking harm? When Baron's brother throws objects, he throws them at where he thinks you'll be by the time the object makes it to you. This predictive throwing method can be exploited. By dashing while Baron's brother is about to throw the object, this results in him thinking you're going to be really far away because of how fast you are moving, resulting in him throwing it in a completely illogical place. It is this glitch that we can use to cause Baron's brother to throw the purple goop at himself. And again, this is not us causing any harm, this is Baron's brother throwing the object at himself. We can then do this to cause him to fall in the hole without actually hurting him. After taking care of these bees, we can then restart the run because we just failed. Attempt 3 started off very well. I managed to hit the restart button at only 7.56 seconds, which honestly might be a new PB for me. I went to save Christopher and oh, well, let's try that again. This run began off the same, and I do mean the exact same. I hit the same 7.56 as I did earlier. This time I didn't mess up Christopher. Well, that was close. After finishing up Turtle Town and Snow Valley, this is when I made a critical mistake. I'll just let the footage play out. Attempt 5 went much better. I was hitting tricks like an actual speedrunner this time instead of someone just fumbling around to get a run done. I was actually on pace with my PB even all the way into Giant House. And I didn't step on the roach this time. And with that, it was back to everyone's favorite level. Things actually went pretty okay during this level. I was nailing speedrun strats and actually making good time throughout the whole thing. I was actually beginning to get the hang of this prediction glitch. And I remembered not to hurt the bees this time. However, having to dodge the bees and the projectiles and having to use the glitch to beat the boss proved a bit too difficult. I could usually make it to the second phase. However, once I got there, it was only a matter of time before I eventually perished. And there is no good ending here. I wasn't able to complete the game. Having to perform the glitch while having bees flying around and other projectiles proved to be just too much. It's not like it would have mattered anyway. The glitch only works when Baron's brother is the one to throw it. This means on the final hit, when Baron's brother starts bouncing the projectile back, you will have to hit the projectile, meaning it requires at least 2 acts of violence to complete this game. So to answer the question, no, it is not possible to beat Super Bear Adventure completely as a pacifist. So, thanks for watching. Sorry for the bad ending.